Hello, welcome to the Cracraft Historical Society YouTube channel. My name is Elizabeth Aguilar, and I am the founder of and genealogist for the Cracraft Historical Society. We have a mission here at the Society to promote, protect, and remember the contributions made by Cracraft family members that benefit society at large. Each week, I will be making short biographical videos about various family members. Of course, out of respect for everyone's privacy, I will only be making videos about people who have passed on. But if you are part of the Cracraft family, you can go on to Ancestry.com and look at the family tree and find out how this week's person is related to you. This week, we are focusing on Joseph Cracraft. Joseph was born in Poland Township, Mahoning County, Ohio, in 1842. Mahoning County is on the eastern border of Ohio and is adjacent to the state of Pennsylvania. Joseph's father was Joseph Cracraft, and his mother was Sarah Ann Carver. He had one full brother, John W. Cracraft, two full sisters, Elvira and Alice, and one half-brother, Charles Henry. The first official document where we see the name of Joseph Cracraft appears on the 1850 United States Census. Here we can see the name of his father, his mother, and his brothers and his sisters. In 1851, Joseph's mother passed away. Both Joseph and his sister Elvira went to live with his maternal grandfather, John Carver. Here on the 1860 census, we see Joseph living on his grandfather's farm in Poland Township, Mahoning County, Ohio. In the 1860s, there were new farming innovations: the self-raking reaper and the marched harvester. This labor-saving equipment reduced the need for hired help and led farmers to expand their acreage. As fewer people were needed on the farms, those people went looking for various types of work in the cities, increasing their population. On November 5th, 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected as the President of the United States. On March 4th, 1861, he was sworn into office. 6 weeks after Lincoln's election, South Carolina was the first state to secede from the Union. It seceded on December 20th, 1860. By the middle of 1861, the Confederate States of America consisted of 11 former U.S. states. In 1861, Joseph Cracraft lived in Pittsburgh. He rented a room in a boarding house located at 3rd Avenue and Smithfield. According to his enlistment papers, Joseph Cracraft was a painter. On July 4th, 1861, Colonel Samuel W. Black, seen here, was given orders to start recruiting soldiers in the Union Army from the Pittsburgh area. Joseph Cracraft most likely saw and responded to an advertisement like this one. Joseph signed up for the Pennsylvania Infantry, 63rd Regiment, Company A, on the 22nd of July, 1861, as a private. There are no photographs that exist of Joseph. However, we can now visualize what he would have looked like. He was 5 foot 6 inches tall. He had light hair, a fair complexion, and blue eyes. At the time of his enlistment, he was 19 years old. As a private in the United States Army, Joseph would receive $11 per month for his services. At the beginning of the war, neither side was ready for an all-out war. So the uniforms were not standardized until later in the war. Soldiers' tents were small and provided little comfort. They slept on the ground. Sleeping bags would not be invented until the 1870s. According to the revised United States Army Regulations of 1861, a daily ration for an enlisted Union soldier included 12 ounces of pork or bacon, or 1 pound 4 ounces of fresh or salted beef. These are several examples of the weapons carried by Union soldiers. Although more reliable and more accurate than previous models, the muskets were still particularly temperamental and prone to misfiring. All of these weapons were in short supply at the beginning of the war. To conform to Army regulations for volunteer infantry regiments, each of the companies now identified by letter instead of name. They would consist of a captain, a first lieutenant, a second lieutenant, a first sergeant, 4 sergeants, 8 corporals, a minimum of 64 and a maximum of 82 privates, a wagoneer, and 2 musicians. On August 31st, 1861, Joseph Cracraft and his company left Pittsburgh for Washington, D.C. They camped near Fort Corcoran and were part of the defense forces of Washington, D.C. until October 1861. Colonel Samuel Black was killed at the Battle of Gaines Hill on June 27, 1862. Lieutenant Colonel Jacob B. Schweitzer, pictured here, was wounded and captured by the Confederates, but was later returned in a prisoner exchange. Schweitzer was promoted to full colonel and took command of the 62nd Regiment. During the Battle of Antietam, the regiment was held in reserve and suffered no casualties. Joseph Cracraft was promoted to corporal on December 12, 1862. On the morning of the 9th of June, 1863, at Kelly's Ford, Virginia, the 62nd skirmished with Confederate forces as half of a Union cavalry force of 10,000 crossed the river at Kelly's Ford on their way to Brandy Station, Virginia. This became known as the Battle of Brandy Station. Brandy Station is believed to be the largest cavalry battle of the Civil War. Some 20,000 men were involved. The Union cavalry was now thought of as being equal to the previously considered superior cavalry of the Confederate Army. Sometime on June the 9th of 1863, the postmaster of the 62nd Pennsylvania, Joseph's informal title, was sent out on a fine gray horse and armed with 2 Colt revolvers and a carbine for the purpose of delivering 2 bags of mail to Aquia Creek and taking some important letters to General Burnside. He, the horse, and the mail were never seen again. In 1887, Congressman and future President William McKinley dedicated the monument that has the names of the Poland Township Civil War soldiers who are buried elsewhere. As you can see, Joseph Cracraft's name has been included. It reads, Private J.T. Cracraft, missing, bearing mail. On the 3rd of September 1890, his father, Joseph Cracraft, applied for and was granted the pension for Civil War soldiers. In 1990, the National Park Service completed mapping of the historic battlefield at Brandy Station. In 2003, Brandy Station Battlefield Park was opened. Joseph Cracraft, although it has been almost 160 years, please know that family remember you, and we honor the ultimate sacrifice you made for us and the country in which we live.